BS a Ranger fan. Can't BS a Ranger fan.
This is an unlawful gathering. This is an unlawful gathering. The truth is out there. The truth is out there.
This is the underground. This is new media. This is the underground. This is new media.
Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar. Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar.
And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers. And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers.
This is New York Rangers hockey. 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 This is New York.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Blue Shirt Underground Show. Today is Thursday. It is July the 20th, year 2023. My name is Jim, and as always, I'm joined on the other side of the window by the one and only, the incomparable, the often imitated, never duplicated, Edward Geik. Eddie, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon. Good evening. How are you? I hope you're doing well. It's hot, hot, hot. As the great, who was that? The guy who sang that song?
Buster Poindexter.
Poindexter. I can't believe I forgot.
David
What?
Johansen.
Yes, I saw him live.
Did you?
Buster Poindexter by accident.
By accident?
Yeah, I was at a punk show, and then following the punk show in the city, Buster Poindexter came on at a place called the Wetlands, which I don't think exists anymore. But I'm doing well. I'm over the funk. I think some people were talking about it. I think Colin Cook, the guy who's responsible for our intro, is now over the funk of last year's disappointments. I'm ready to move on, Jim. The only thing is, we're still 3 months away.
Right. Yeah, I guess about 10 weeks from opening night. Probably something like that.
So it's a long ways away, it seems. But I am very positive about the Rangers. I don't think the problem is, I mean, I don't want to dive right into it, but might as well.
Why are you positive? I'm just curious.
Why? How am I positive?
No, why? What makes you positive?
Okay.
What's got you excited?
Well, excited. Well, I think the Rangers have one basic problem is I don't think they have a lack of talent.
Only one.
Well, they're certainly in a better position than most teams in the NHL. They have tremendous amounts of talent. Their problem is the playoffs. The playoffs is what the problem is. Unfortunately for us, we have to sit through the regular season to find out how the Rangers respond to the playoffs. In the playoffs. But I think the Rangers are an exciting team. I think they've got I've said it before. You've got Adam Fox, former Norris Trophy winner. I think people would kill to have the Rangers team. Sure, they have problems. They have problems with that. I remember a few years ago where we were like, we don't have a legit number one center. Well, we have a legit number one center now. We don't have a legit playmaker. Well, now we have a legit playmaker. A legit goal scorer. I mean, between Kreids and Zibanejad, Kreider did not have the 50-goal season he had 2 years ago, but he was consistent. So I see the Rangers as definitely fixable as far as their identity goes, as far as their team goes. And me and Jim, we prepared a little video we're going to show you about Laviolette and why I think this guy is going to do the one thing that Gerard Gallant did not do as a coach. And that's actually coach. And it doesn't really matter what the record was. A lot of people will say, well, I wanted this guy and I wanted that guy. And he's only won one cup, and that was 400 years ago, whatever. I just think they need a direction. And I felt like they didn't have a direction or an identity other than being the comeback kids in the playoffs 2 years ago. And that all went to shit last year.
Right.
And that's why I'm positive. I think some of the thoughts he has and the style he wants to play is workable with the Rangers. If the Rangers didn't have the players, like if this wanted to be implemented with the Islanders, they couldn't pull it off. And a couple of things he wants. I think the kids, it's gonna be interesting, but I'm positive. I really am. I really feel like Gerard Gallant was about as hands-off as you can get with these guys. And I think he'll be more involved. And with personally and with the strategery. So that's why I'm positive.
Okay.
After 10 games, I may be calling for his head. We all know that. Right.
Well, no, that's fine. Like I said last week or the show before that if you can find reasons to be positive, to be excited, and that's great. I applaud you.
They're going to be good in the regular season. I mean, I don't understand why people are picking Pittsburgh to finish ahead of them. Pittsburgh is, it's AAR. Well, it's not even AARP. It's Social Security time for a lot of these guys. I mean,
they're an aging team.
They're an aging team. Tristan Jarry, although he's won a Stanley Cup. Now, again, you don't have to win. You don't have to have the greatest goalie win the Stanley Cup. But I just think, even with the Devils, everybody's riding the Devils jock. Now, listen, the Devils are improved. No doubt about it. Like I mentioned last week, they got a younger squad. Nico Heshier came into his own. They've got Jack Hughes, this Dawson Mercer kid I like. I think they lost Ryan Graves in the offseason.
Did they?
I think. Don't quote me on that. And also, if somebody could find me the link, my friend John told me today they ranked the top 10 number one picks, I guess, of the last 10 years or so. And Alexei Lafreniere finished 7th, which was kind of surprising. Well, I guess maybe not out of 10. I don't know.
Obviously, that list wasn't done by Ranger fans.
Right. So I think Ranger fans really want to see these guys get some playing time. And last year I felt, during Gallant played every game like it was Game 7. Now, I don't know how Peter Laviolette's track record is with youngsters, but I really feel like the regular season should be the time that we get to find out whether these guys can play or not. And not every power play has got to have Panarin on it for, a minute and 45.
Graves went to the Penguins.
There you go. The Penguins are back.
Right. That's why they're third. Well, that's why they're higher than the Rangers, I should say.
And the Devils, And the Devils, their goaltending is, it's not good. Got traded too. Mackenzie Blackwood. He's gone. They're looking at, I think it's the Leafs goalie Samsonov, whose name changes every week. His last name, the pronunciation of it. He's looking to get out, and there's some other bummers hanging around. And come on, we malign Lindy Ruff. At least a lot of Ranger fans did, for how he can't coach the Rangers, this and that, and now all of a sudden he's Al Arba. So we'll see. I'm not about to anoint anybody, although I would say the Hurricanes, if they get Erik Karlsson, which that's another thing that's just dragging out. I mean, fucking, come on. Go somewhere, please. He might go to Pittsburgh, too, which that would... But I can't see it having Karlsson and Letang. It's like, I don't know, it's kind of the same player, except maybe, Karlsson's coming off that great year. So those are the things I'm excited about.
Okay. I just looked at the calendar. We're actually 12 weeks away.
12 weeks away.
Opening night.
Yes.
The Rangers will open on the road against Buffalo and then Columbus. And then the home opener is a Monday night against Arizona. Just who you want. I don't know if that's, kind of hard to get excited when they play Arizona, but it is opening night. So,
yes. I'm
kind of like to see a big opponent that night, but whatever.
I also wanted to say a special hello. I see Chris the Meat is in the chat room. To his wife, Kate, who was in, where is she, in Tanzania or something like that?
Is she?
Yeah, she's in some crazy country. She's been posting pictures.
United States isn't crazy enough?
No. I really believe we live in the craziest country in the world.
Got to export to crazy?
I need a confirmation that she's in Tanzania. It's some wacky country where they just wear pith helmets and
Tanzania. You're right. She's on safari.
Really? I didn't know Chris Johnert was a non-flyer. Same with me.
I didn't know that either. I'll tell you what. That's not the reason why I would have ditched the African safari, but it's a good excuse.
Yeah.
I would have had a list. I would have had a whole list. I don't fly. I don't, I ain't doing no safari. I can't outrun a rhino. I mean, it would have been like a 30 excuse list why reasons why I'm not going to Tanzania.
Hey, listen, I mean, if it's on your bucket list,
absolutely go have a great time. But to me, that's just not my idea of a vacation. But that's okay. To each his own. I'm all about it.
Having a good time there in Tanzania.
To each his own.
I see Sean is mentioning Tony D'Angelo has been bought out by the Flyers. How many buyouts is this guy? I mean, this guy's getting bought.
Was he bought? He was bought out. Yeah. I saw he was waived, but I guess that was before the
released. Well,
I think that was ahead of the buyout, I guess.
I mean, this guy is.
I don't know. Was he? I don't recall hearing about any problems.
No, I think everybody wants to get out of Dodge and Philly. The bad.
What kind of season did he have for them? I don't know. 42 points. They just buy him out. Minus 27. I mean, there is that, but
they were a bad team.
Yeah, I mean, they're a
horrible team. Might wind
up
back on Carolina again. Who knows?
I hope they bring him back to the Rangers.
Oh, that'll never happen.
I just want to see the fan base go apoplectic at this point.
Just wishing.
Oh, he's a horrible human being. He trolls people on Twitter. Oh my God!
He stole Keandre Miller's puck. Oh wait,
right.
That was fabricated by what's his name? Adam Herman.
Right.
Adam Sheeman, whatever that guy's name is, from Blue Shirt Barbecue. Let him go back to Carolina. We're in his head, man. He's a turnover machine when they get on him. Yeah. Rob Scotty also mentioning that Mark Stahl is reunited with Torts in Philly. Why? He misses the abuse.
Right.
Dan Girardi's also coming out of retirement to play with Philly as well.
Team up with Stahl.
Yeah.
Be the best first pairing 2009 can offer.
Oh, man, I'll tell you. A lot of movement this year, I got to say. I don't think he's a fit with the Islanders TDA, but whatever. He's one of those guys I like. I don't dislike him because of the nonsense that was ginned up about him. This is not a good hockey player. This is he plays defensively. He's horrible, but offense, he can play a power play. But we don't have a problem with the power play.
Right.
So I promised. Well, I don't know. Do you have anything you'd like to?
We did talk about Keandre Miller getting his deal last week, right? We talked about that.
I don't know. I don't think we talked about that. I don't remember the $4 million.
He's he's slightly under $4 million, right?
I think
Which
so.
It seems weird that that Dubinsky contract that we laughed about for so long was like 11 or 12 years ago now. and now it's like, but here you have Keandre Miller still signing for less than that. Like that just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that point towards the absurdity of that contract for Brandon Dubinsky? I don't know.
I don't know. I think because he's a defenseman. What is this? His first
Defenseman.
Is this his first? I think after his entry level contract, right? Keandre Miller. This is his first real contract.
It's his bridge deal, I guess.
Now, let me ask you this: it's only for 2 years, right? He's very athletic.
He's a black man. $4 million.
$4 million.
Let me Alaskan. He's a black man. $4 million. We love him.
He's from Tanzania. He's from Tanzania. Let me ask you this.
Average annual value of $3.872 million.
3.8. Now, I know a lot of Ranger fans just want to be done with him and what have you. But let me ask you this, because I don't know the ins and outs of this. It's a bridge deal, right? So say 2 years.
It's 2 years.
He stinks up the joint. Say he's just terrible. Can the Rangers just say, well, you know what? We have no interest in you. Goodbye. Get out of here, you bum.
I mean, I think if his play hasn't improved in 2 years, he's not going to be the guy I think they have to have. Hopefully we're going to see improvement. They obviously, most people think there's still a lot of growth. So let's hope we see it.
And that's another thing.
See it.
I feel
I feel like a lot of I just feel like Gerard Gallant was just guys went stagnant about as fast as possible as they possibly could under Gerard Gallant. I guess David Quinn was a yeller, and he was a bit of a sounded like he was a micromanager and constantly harping on guys in practice. And here comes Gallant, and he takes the leash off, and everybody just gets to do whatever the hell they want. And they had some success, and they had a lot of luck in the playoffs last year. And I don't care what you tell me, it was luck, because until Trouba knocks Crosby out of that game, Rangers are going out of that series in 5 games. Done. Trouba knocks Crosby out, the whole series changed right there. All of a sudden, Pittsburgh had goaltending problems. They had everything problems. So yes, they had a breath of fresh air for the regular season, and then a lucky playoff run. And I just feel like there was no growth this year.
That's why I'm excited about Laviolette, because I think he's actually going to coach these guys. I agree with you 100%. I feel like the reins were off and they were left to their own devices. And as the famous clip says, sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Right.
And but there are some players I have a hard time thinking, wow, there's one player I think that will be the barometer of how good Peter Laviolette is, and that is Artemi Panarin. He needs to buy into whatever Laviolette's selling, because he seems the most, this is my opinion, uncoachable guy on the team.
We did hear rumors there was a disconnect, as they like to say, between him and the head coach. But I feel like the whole team was disconnected from that head coach.
Right.
So we'll see.
I
do think Laviolette will get their attention.
Well,
I
hopefully
think he will get their attention. And hopefully, he's a guy that and it seems like he is, because this is what, his 19th NHL head coaching team. So he's obviously had all kinds of personalities. He coached Ovechkin, and he's had type A's, type B's, type C's, and then Mika, who might be a type D. So hopefully he knows how to push these guys' buttons.
At least if he get 3/4, and I mean, sometimes there are guys that you just got to let them do what they do. But I think with Panarin, as you're going to see in our Meet the Coach video, that's right, Euro Trash, I did not forget about you. We're the only program that
we got to vamp a little before we get to the video. We got to, warm you up.
Yeah, all right, okay, I'll warm you up a little bit.
Well, that's what we're doing. I mean, you didn't just go sit in the studio when the Honeymooners came on. Somebody came out and had to warm up the crowd.
That's right. And I think you'll see in the video, you'll see a little bit of his personality, which I don't think Gerard Gallant had any, except being aggravated at every question.
Right.
And then you're going to see some of the things that he preaches. Now, again, like I said at the beginning, I think the Rangers have the team that can execute this stuff. And I feel, again, we can look at the records and say Gallant and Sean McCaff is on record as saying this is a very lateral move. In a way it is, because the Rangers need to win now. They need a win now coach. That's what Gerard Gallant was. Rangers were ready to win. They took a chance on this bum. Didn't work out. So they're getting another guy. That's why your knob block didn't get a shot. The window is closing, as we've said many years
already. I feel like the window opened about that much.
It's a little disconcerting. I'm a little worried about some of, here's a signing that why did we get Eric Gustafsson? We got him because he's a favorite of Laviolette's.
Right.
Okay. He had a very good year. I think he's only had a couple good years. Last year was one of them. He's an offensive defenseman. Now, this is going to make trouble for Zach Jones. We didn't get Mikkola back, who I thought played admirably for the Rangers. Not an offensive guy, but that third pairing defenseman, let Braden Schneider emerge as a offensive guy. I think he's got it in him. But all of a sudden now you got Eric Gustafsson in the mix. And now I'm worried about, Is he going to play favorites? Is he going to, and the same thing goes with the forwards. I think I talked when we were talking to Russ, I feel like there's going to be some of the guys that we're used to who played really good last year for what they are, like Jimmy Vesey, a couple other guys that we were like, wow, those guys are going to be replaced, because every coach has favorites.
Right.
That the team may look different, and initially Ranger fans are not going to like it. They're not going to respond well. Well, I don't think Trouba belongs on the power play. Why did we re-sign Miller? Well, I think we just covered that. You're allowed to have a cataclysmic one bad year. 2 bad years, then you're gone. You got 2 years. He's still a young guy. I'd like to see Zach Jones get a shot as well, but we got to go through the coach's favorites.
Right.
Questions coming on. No, I don't think Keandre Miller belongs on the power play. He just turns the puck over too much. And Panarin's going to play that point. He is, and you got Adam Fox, and that's the way it's going to be. Unless you see some mixing it up. And don't rely on Panarin as much as you do. And I would like to see the young guys get some power play time. You play the aforementioned Arizona Coyotes on opening night. Put Lafreniere, not just for like one time. Let's gauge where these guys are. Because there's 2 types of Ranger fans. These guys are what they are. They're not superstars. And there's the other side. Well, they got to play more than 11 minutes a night.
Right. I think Keandre Miller should get some power play time. I think there needs to be a legitimate used second power play unit. I don't mean a power play unit with Mika Zibanejad, Chris Kreider, or Artemi Panarin, and they play a minute 52, and then you send the second power play unit out for the last 8 seconds of the power play after we lose a face-off or we're offsides. Legitimately used second power play unit.
Very good point.
Too much money being spent, too much supposed talent on this team to just be running the same 5 guys out there for a minute 45, a minute 50. And that includes Adam Fox. That's everybody on that first power play unit. Everybody. Get them off the ice. You got a minute. Get it done. If you can't get it done, get off the ice. Give me the other unit.
Yeah.
I agree with 2 power play units.
I agree with it. And that it makes sense, especially when it comes playoff time and maybe the one unit is not working, and then you could go to the second unit. You can't and he even addresses this. You can't start yelling, start tinkering once the fucking playoffs gets there. You have to have this stuff in place
right
before that. And since I'm pretty sure the Rangers are going to make the playoffs, that why not give the kid line power play time? Why not? Split it in half. Why does it have to be, the Circus del Soleil every fucking power play? I mean, it's an effective power play. Don't get me wrong. And I enjoy seeing Mika Zibanejad taking one-timers 5,000 times a year, but maybe it's hindering the development of some other players. Isn't that really what we're worried about since the window is closing? Somebody's got to step up. And I really think that, people are, a lot of Ranger fans are depending on Brennan Othman. I send him to the minors. Let him play in Hartford for a while. You know, don't. Oh, they got to bring up this guy. Bring up this guy. Well, we've seen what that happened. What happens with that?
Sean Kraft, to answer both of your questions, yes, there have been thoughts on viewing parties for the upcoming season, and there will be viewing parties in the upcoming seasons. And no, it's not a repurposed howitzer shell. It's a Stanley Cup.
Oh.
Might be the last one I ever see.
Wow. Now, it's coming. But I only have 2 years left on this show. As I've said many times.
Here we go again.
Listen, I want to be rewarded here.
Isn't this crowd rewarding enough? The
accolades,
the admiration, the way people chant your name when they hear
I
see
love
you.
Them. I love everyone. I do. I have to say,
jokers to the left of me. Was it clowns to the left of me? Jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
One big dysfunctional Ranger family.
That's right.
I wouldn't trade you guys for anything, man.
Dan Patrick did an early retirement announcement. He announced today he's retiring in 4 years.
Who?
Dan Patrick.
The former ESPN guy?
ESPN guy, yeah. Then I think he went to
4-year early retirement.
Did he go to NBC Sports Network for a while and then to DirecTV? I don't know. He's been all over the place.
Yeah. Patty Duke is feeling the magic. The magic is back. As Neil Allen used to say.
The magic is back.
Wow.
All right, they're clamoring for this video.
All right, okay. The fans are ready. Now I'm just going to describe what you're going to see.
Give you a little preamble here.
You did a couple years back. Laviolette did a seminar with John Giannone. They were going to sell iPad
minis.
iPad minis.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
What the hell was going on with that?
Yeah, let's go over that before because I want to get that bit of comedy.
Why is John Giannone trying to sell iPads on Twitter?
Didn't he get hacked or something?
I don't know.
Sean knows, right? Didn't he wind up getting hacked?
Who hacks John Giannone of all people?
He's such a mook, that guy. He's just a momo. You just want to. Yeah, apparently.
I mean, I honestly never followed up with the story. All I saw was like tweets on back-to-back days from him that he was trying to sell these iPads. What do you whack some fucker out in Jersey? He's got a truckload of them. He's got to move. I got to get rid of these things. Look.
Oh, it looks like Kevin Weeks also got the iPad mini hack, according to Sean. Wow.
But Chris is saying he posted a photo of himself with the iPads. Oh, this is all very strange.
This is amazing stuff.
This is a conspiracy now.
I tell you, they get no money over there at Madison Square Garden. He's got a Hawk iPad mini.
He's hawking iPads.
What is he selling, the Flowbee too? That
Flowbee.
Okay, so
anyway.
The setup is,
it's like Billy Mays out there selling OxyClean.
I tell you, people like to hack the Rangers. I don't know. So, so you're going to see a little bit of Laviolette's personality to start, and then he's going to break it down what This seminar was conducted for USA Hockey several years back. I think when he had the Carolina job, or one of his 500 coaching jobs. And so he's talking. He starts off. He's relaying a story about his 10-year-old son trying out, and that's where it all begins. And then it's going to be 10 minutes long. So please. I know we are older people, but there are some of us young. I know you have the ADHD and all that shit. But please, if you want to meet the coach, this is the way to do it. Rather than talk about records, wins and losses, all that bullshit, and this is what he's all about. Let's go to the video.
John Giano selling Amway. All right, here we go.
So there was 99 kids trying out. 98 were trying to make 2 teams, and one person was going to make the AAA team. So I had my oldest son, Peter, in the car, and we're on our way to the rink. And being a typical bad parent, I grabbed him and I said, "Listen, you gotta make some noise here. You got to be noticeable." I said, "So don't be afraid to take the puck to the net. Shoot the puck when you get the opportunity. Go to the front of the net." They always notice people in tryouts that score goals or make.
He's going to lose half the team when he says, "Shoot the puck. Don't be afraid to go to the net." He's going to lose half the team. He's going to lose half his audience right there.
But isn't this what we're screaming about every game?
Well, yeah, you know it, and I know it, and the American people know it, and Bob Dole knows it, and Peter Laviolette knows it. But the problem is that Adam fucking Fox and Temi Panera, they don't know it. All right.
Well, you ride the pine.
I'm sorry. We're 10 seconds into this thing. I'm already stopping.
Yeah.
Make plays. Okay, Dad, I got it. So this was a 2-day tryout. It was Friday night, Saturday night, and then they were going to have people Friday night, Saturday morning, and they're going to have 90 down to 30 to come back on Sunday morning. So after the tryout on Friday night, he gets in the car, and his team had tied 3-3, and he had 2 goals, and he got in the car, and I looked at him, and I said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He's like, "What? How'd you think I played?" I said, "Well, you didn't take the puck to the net hardly at all." I said, "You didn't skate down the wing. You hardly shot the puck. You keep getting it and just throwing it to the middle of the ice." He's a left winger. And he
No, wait till he gets a hold of Artemi. Wait till he gets a load of him. You're throwing it in the middle. Oh my God, this guy is he's gonna wring Artemi Panarin's neck.
He said, "Oh, all right, I'm sorry." He's 10 years old, 12 years old. And we get home, we drive back Saturday, and we're going to the rink, and I said, you know what you got to do? You got to make noise out here. You got to be noticeable. I said, there's 98 kids. There's one kid that's going to make it to the AAA team. And then there's only 30 kids that are going to make the AA team, so you got to make some noise here. All right, Dad, I got it. They end up winning the game, the scrimmage, 5-4. He had a goal and 2 assists in the scrimmage. And he gets in the car, and I look at him, and I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What?" I said, "I told you to stop throwing the puck to the middle of the ice. Every time you get it on a breakout, you flip the puck to the middle of the ice." I said, "Get it, take it wide, drive over the defenseman, put the puck at the net. You got to make a difference out there." He's like, "Okay, fine." We got a call that night. He was invited back Sunday morning. On the way to the rink again, being the good parent that I am, I grabbed him in the car and I said, "Do you understand what I'm saying to you?" And he said, "I got it, Dad, I got it." I said, "Well, then stop passing the puck to the middle of the ice." I said, "Grab it and go. Once you're going, maybe you make some plays from there." So we come back, and there's only 30 kids left of the 98. And we're trying out for 2 teams, plus the 1 spot on AAA. And I'm the coach of the Carolina Hurricanes. And I go into a locker room, and it is packed. There's only 2 rooms. And the parents, it must have been like maybe 9 or 10 years old, 10 years old. The parents were all in there, and they were tightening the skates up for the kids. So we had to get in there, and you had to wedge yourself in to where you were going, and your kid was sitting between. Not a word was being said. There was so much tension in the room from the kids, and most definitely from the parents. And we sit down, and nothing's being said, and I'm bent over, and I'm doing my skate, and there was a nice lady right next to me, and her son was sitting in front of her. And she said to my son, she said, "Oh," she said, you're Peter, right?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "My son, Jimmy, has been the centerman on your line for the last 2 nights." And I'm down tightening my skates, and my son looks at her and he said, "My dad told me not to pass the puck to your son anymore." And I'm like this. I'm like this, head coach of the Hurricanes, okay? I'm like this. And I looked up at him and I said, "I did not say that." And I looked at her and I said, "I did not say that." And he goes, "Yes, you did. You just told me in the car on the way in here." I'm like, "I did not say that."
All right, stop it there. Okay.
We have an intermission?
Yeah, a little intermission there. Well, what I wanted to say about this, because we have joked that Gerard Gallant was doing stand-up.
Right.
This is like his stand-up routine. But I like
But he's telling an
I
anecdote.
like, yes.
As opposed to giggling when we've just lost, game 5.
Right. And to me, that's a really good story about his philosophy is, again, like you said, good luck teaching this to the Rangers, but
is he going to drive Artemi to the rink and give him all this advice on the way into the arena?
Because the first time Artemi crosses that blue line, he's going to do that little curl and look to pass.
Right.
All right. So now he's going to from this Denzel Washington movie here.
All right. Oh, so this is him playing this clip.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought this was something you put in here for.
No. Just for our enjoyment.
Okay.
Good morning, coaches. How are you? Good morning. How are you? It's good day, then. Just wanted to let you know what the offense is doing.
An awful skinny playbook, ain't it?
Well, I run 6 plays, split bids like Novocaine. Just give it time, always works. See you on the bus.
What you need to do is find out what you like, who you are, what you're comfortable, and you need to sell that package to your team. So I thought that clip was awesome. They don't have a big playbook. They didn't have 50 plays that the kids need to learn and try to figure out what's what. They had 6 plays, know those 6 plays, do them very well, and you'll find success at the end of the day. So we keep it simple in Nashville. When it came to the offensive zone, we talked about attacking the offensive zone through the neutral zone. And as we thought about it, there was really only 3 ways to get through there. You can carry it in with possession. You can chip the puck with support and chip to possession, so you're chipping it to a driving player. Or you can dump it in and forecheck and recover.
All right.
So again, these are just some philosophies.
Okay, with those 3 things, I find that 2 of those things, there you go, that's
now you
great.
Can see.
The Rangers can do number 1. The Rangers have a lot of problems with the second 2. I think chip with support, chip to possession, okay, I could give them that. Because they like to do that play where they chip it up from the defenseman to the forward, and then they move. Dump it in and forecheck to recovery. That, to me, is a 4th line only thing that happens. I don't know if you could get the first 2 lines to do that, but I think they have the players that they can take on. If this guy can get through to them, it's a wonderful thing.
Right.
Because I think a lot of times you've got to be able to switch things up, like during a playoff series, during something, trying to carry it in and you're getting stifled. But again, I think you got to practice this stuff before you get to that point. You can't just start yelling, get it deep, dump it in, and then everybody's like, come on. Like they're lost. I felt like they were rudderless with Gallant. Right. All right, now we can continue. I'm sorry. You have anything?
He's got to get them to buy into these philosophies, as opposed to coming from a coach who had no philosophies. He had all the philosophy of Barney Rubble.
What is that, Denzel? I forgive me. I don't know the name of that movie. Is that Remember the Titans or something?
That would be my guess. I've never seen it, but that would be my guess.
Okay.
It's not Carbon Copy, I can tell you that.
Soul Man.
Carbon Copy. Oh, Carbon Copy was one of those old, we just got HBO for the first time, and this is on 12 times a day movies.
You sure it isn't The Toy?
No, Carbon Copy.
Okay.
I remember watching that movie as a kid a lot. Anyway, here we go.
So you're chipping it to a driving player, or you can dump it in and forecheck and recover. Again, these are just some philosophies and some ideas that come from me. I would love to see the puck with wide speed. So On breakouts or possession changes, sprint to offense. Your job off of transition in the defensive zone or the neutral zone is to go with speed and move quickly. Get transition up the ice. Look to beat the opposition up the ice. Challenge opposition's defense one-on-one with wide speed. So for me, if pucks can get to the middle of the ice, eventually I would like to see them with a defense in place. So not the breakaway goal, not the 3-on-1, but a defense in place. I would like to see an attack at the middle ice, and I would like to see the puck distributed to wide speed, because I think too many times when you take the puck and bring it to the middle of the ice, there's a defense in place and it leads to turnovers, and if you've got guys moving in north direction at a good pace, there's going to be turnovers and you're going to be vulnerable defensively coming back the other way. So I put through some clips here, and we've got a new computer on Exos here, and they did just getting back in the office here and working with it. It did a really good job of highlighting the piece that you wanted to work with. So I'm working through it here too with you guys. I might back up a couple times, but you get a real chance to see what's going on with the offense.
I think Gallant was still on an iMac, wasn't he?
Like Commodore 64.
So we get the puck wide here, and you can see that now we've got it almost where we wanted it in that diagram. And for me, this doesn't have to be a centerman. This could be a defenseman. It could be it's whatever we come out of the zone and how we get 5 guys. And all 5 guys have to know where the other 4 are supposed to be. If you're a left winger, you need to know where the right winger needs to be in case you're on that side, because it's not always set in stone that the center's in the center lane, the left winger's in the left lane. This is Craig Smith. He's our right winger. He gets the puck in the center of the ice, but yet everything remains the same. He gets the puck wide here, and he distributes it, and then he takes off to the net, and you can see once he comes in, he gets that quick hit. So that was the one, and then he stops in front of the net as well, where he gets that opportunity in front of the net. This is the same one. You can see that there's a center lane drive. It gets to that point right there. The same thing that I showed you on that. And the reason why I didn't do too many of the PowerPoint clips is because there's so many things that can happen. But off the video, you can see it. There's the center lane drive, the weak side of the ice, and the weak side defenseman. He opts to shoot the puck because everything seems locked up through the middle of the ice. Again, same thing. There is no winger. Our winger came off the wall, so our centerman drives wide. But again, everybody gets into the same position. A center lane drive, a weak side of the ice, and then Craig Smith gets a stick on it for a redirect in front of the net. This is Roman Josi, our defenseman. So again, he's filled the center position. So whoever's not part of the 3 here, it ends up being Mike Ribeiro. He pulls back into the defenseman's position, but Roman kicks the puck out to the winger. He drives through, and that actually went off Roman and into the net.
All right, stop it here.
It's interesting because, it's interesting to see, like, it's fascinating to me to see how a coach actually diagrams a play and then sees it come to fruition. You know what I mean? Like, you don't often see that, but he's accentuating speed and essentially has 2 guys getting themselves in position to score in front of the net, disrupting the defense and disrupting the goaltender, which I like.
Yeah,
right, this video is getting me a little. Well, maybe, I sit here and watch it. I'm like, okay, at least this guy has a structure. This guy has a philosophy. This guy has an idea of what it takes to win hockey games. The problem is going to be selling it to this ragtag bunch of, that's going to be the problem. Is Mika Zibanejad going to do this? Is Artemi Panarin going to do this? Is Chris Kreider going to do this? This is...
Well, Kreider doesn't have a problem going to the net. But I like the philosophy that no matter who you are, whether even in the previous clip with Josi, your prime directive, if I may use the star, is to get to the front of the net.
Right.
And that is a Ranger problem. They have the speed on the wings to gain the zone. But to get to the front of the net, go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead. Finish your thought. And then
I was going to say, Costa would put get in the goalie's kitchen sink. You know, and
how many times, I know it, and I know it's always fun to say the Rangers make backup goaltenders look like Ken Dryden, blah blah blah, and I know that backup goaltenders is a subject in Sean's book without giving anything away. By the way, I'm 100 pages in. Sean's book is terrific. Ranger Villains, make sure you order it. But how many times have we said the Rangers had 28 shots on goal last night, none of them tough for the goaltender? The Rangers did not make life tough on the goaltender last night. How many times have we said that? After almost every loss, we say that. They don't make life tough for the goaltender. At least this guy has a plan, a thought in his head. Let's make life tough for the goaltender. Again, he's got to get up there and sell it. But I wish him $1 million.
I wish him
$1 million.
People had to buy in.
From his lips to God's ears.
The Rangers have the play. Rangers aren't a very small team. I look at guys like Kakko. Kakko is tough to knock off his skates. He's not the swiftest guy in the world. And Lafreniere is no pushover in front of the net the times that they go there. I feel like they have the personnel to do this. But like you said, can they buy in? Can they buy into this?
Well, okay. I'd really have to. And by the way, this is great video. I don't know how you found this, but this is really fantastic. So thank you for finding it, and thank you for,
not problem.
bringing it to us. This is real. I find this really interesting. If this is what he wants to achieve with this team, it's going to take two things, I think. First thing is getting them all to buy in, and two, breaking up the lines as we know them. The things he wants to do, I don't see our current lines being capable of doing all these things on a shift.
Right.
Without a certain change in their philosophy, not the coach's philosophy, their philosophy. You know what I mean? It's going to take, I think it's going to take a different mix of players to be able to accomplish this. Like like the kid line, Kakko might be, is probably the guy that can do what he wants done up along the walls, but he's not necessarily the speed guy to get to the net. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's probably going to take some tweaking of the lines until he finds what
the players in the exit interviews said that Gallant, the practices they wanted to have more intense practices.
Right. It sounded like players didn't think certain players probably weren't being challenged enough in practice.
Now, granted, we're seeing the best clips of his execution, and these are hand-picked clips. We don't see how many times it didn't work.
It's a highlight reel.
Yeah, we're watching a highlight reel of it.
Right.
But right away, I feel like there's somebody at the helm. Again, I never felt that with Gallant. And listen, praise Jesus for his winning percentage and whatever he did. But I feel like there's somebody at the helm. Again, if these chowder heads are going to buy into it, I don't know. Are you going to change that pass first mentality?
I want to back this up just a little bit. Let me see if I can get to the right spot here. I think play was going the other way. So let me play this again, and then I'm going to pause it again. If I'm in the right spot, if I'm not, I'm not going to waste everybody's time trying to find it. But
again, same thing. There is no winger. Our winger came off the wall, so our centerman drives wide. But again, everybody gets into the same position. A center lane drive, a weak side of the ice, and then Craig Smith gets a stick on it for a redirect in front of the net. This is Roman Josi, our defenseman. So again, he's filled the center position. So whoever's not part of the three here, it ends up being Mike Ribeiro. He pulls back into the defenseman's position, but Roman kicks the puck out to the winger. He drives through, and that actually went off Roman and into the net.
Okay, that's what I was looking for, because I think Keandre Miller could be very successful being being the Yossi in that video, driving to the net with his size and his skating ability, and just getting a puck in the net like that. So yeah, I mean, this is all right.
I thought you stopped because you saw Mike Ribeiro snorting cocaine.
He's
yeah. I wanted to also add, this is with a Nashville team that is not most offensively gifted team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that could work either way because the Rangers' work ethic is not, it's not stellar.
That Nashville team, those Nashville teams were teams they wanted to beat you 2-1, 3-2.
But at least, he'll get a chance to assess the team and maybe adjust and what have you. So yeah, that's a good point about Keandre Miller or any defenseman. The Rangers have defensemen who could move. Braden Schneider.
I just see, when I see that, I think that's tailor-made for a bigger guy who could skate well, which is just why I see Keandre Miller being able to succeed in something like that. Hey, this is great, Eddie. You're getting me on board here.
Oh my! Wait a minute. Praise
you're rallying me to the cause here. Let's listen to the who is he talking to here? What kind of seminar is this?
He's talking to USA Hockey young coaches who coach peewees, and he's giving examples of what his system is and showing these younger coaches what to do.
It's pretty interesting. Okay.
Same thing here. We get a center lane drive, and it opens up the weak side of the ice. With offensive zone play in your identity, when you're in trouble, use the back of the net and try to work on as much as you can. The quicker you do things, the better. I don't know if you're yelling at your team all the time to do things faster. Work on that in practice. Don't do things at half speed. And this is going to...
How many times have we said that about the Rangers? They too much thinking. They're not fast enough. They don't react fast enough. And this third one on the list, good luck with that, kid. Good luck with that, coach.
What does that say? I can't see it.
Shot mentality.
This is going to be awkward. When you start to do these things, even me in training camp this year, they're going to come back. It's going to be awkward. They're going to be bumping into each other. They're going to go down the middle. They should have went down the wall. They'll be going away from each other instead of coming back and creating that scissor. The more you do it, the quicker you'll get at it. The quicker you get at it, the more offense that you'll generate. Have a shot mentality. If you can come out off the goal line and put a puck at the net, you got traffic there, put it at the net, because good things will happen. Use your points. Get the puck to the net. With that, you need traffic, screens, and tips. Those will lead to second chances. And then once you're creating all this offense and you're putting pucks at the net, you got to have that.
Let me just say, I've got more hockey insight from this guy in about 6 minutes than I got from Gerard Gallant in 150 games. Because all he ever said was, we just got to play our game and get the puck in the net.
But let me ask you, out of these things, the biggest is going to be the shot mentality. This has been an albatross around the Rangers for 30, 40 years.
The fanciness is in their DNA, and he's just going to have to figure out a way to extract it. I hope look, I pray to God he can get through to this team, but I just think there's a couple of guys on this team that just want to pass the puck.
Well, let me ask you this. Think of some of your favorite coaches in any sport.
Okay.
And say the players did not subscribe to their way of playing. What's the answer? Is it Chateau Bow Wow? Is it...
Well, yeah, typically your best coaches that can't get certain players to buy in, they ride the pine. But that's hard to do in a cap world when you're completely constricted by money. I mean, it's a little different in football when you have 53 men on the roster and you can sit your running back who just refuses to, run to the hole, or you can sit the offensive lineman who's getting beat around the end every time, things like that. It's a little different in hockey when you can only dress 20 guys and you can't have anybody hanging around because you got no cap room, and you can't send guys down to the minors to let them think about it. All you can do is, scratch guys, but then you got to call somebody up, and then that affects your cap. So hockey's a little bit of a different animal.
Maybe set the tone early, with listen.
He's going to have to.
Right. You're going to have to subscribe to this, and if you don't, then your minutes are going down. I don't know.
By the way, in case anybody's wondering, my neighbor cut his grass 2 days ago.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so that we're not being disturbed tonight, and we had our grass cut last night. So
wonderbar, wonderbar.
All right, so let's listen to the rest of this. The Albert Einstein. At least I hear a hockey mind at work here.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think
I hear a hockey mind at work.
I might not all understand everything he's saying about the scissoring and all that stuff.
Right, but I enjoy listening to intelligent people talk. Yes. Whether I know what the hell they're talking about or not.
Right.
I mean, somebody who really knows what they're talking about and can explain it to you and can talk to me knowing that, I'm half an idiot and I can semi understand what he's trying to I can appreciate a mind at work here.
That dog on a bone mentality to recover pucks, to keep possession and stay in the offensive zone. I want to use the points. So as I move on in this presentation, I want to go side to side as quick as possible. I want to go low to high as quick as possible. I don't want my players hanging on to the puck that much unless they feel like they need to, and they're using cutbacks and scissors and trying to create low cycle plays. Use the points right away. I was at my son's tournament, and again, my sons are 17 and 18, so maybe your players are a little older, maybe they're a little bit younger. I was amazed at the lack of times that they did not use the points. But unless you're practicing that, using the points, unless you put 5 guys 5-on-0 in the offensive zone, put a puck to the half wall, use the back of the net, and as that player comes out the other side, unless you're pounding that into your team's identity, point, it's not going to happen. You can sit there and yell from the bench, but unless you've worked on it in 3 practices in a row, 5 practices in a row, we work on it all year long. Unless you work on it to use the points, they're probably not going to use the points. And the thing about it, too, is if you were to use the net and come out this other side here and get to here, you could throw this puck blind because the guy that's covering this defenseman, he's sitting down in here somewhere protecting the front of that. You could throw it blind 100% of the time. Get it, bank it off to the boards, get it out here, and you've got yourself a shot and an opportunity at the net.
Is that it? It ended.
Oh, okay.
Is there more to it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay, because it's over.
Okay. So basically he's saying you got to practice this stuff over and over again. Scissor me, Sam. Oh, Joe, the scissoring.
He ought to just show that video to the whole team every day.
Well, they begged for a coach. I feel like this guy, like you said, you can talk about his failures to win everywhere, but there seems like there's a real hockey coach in there.
Right.
I mean, isn't that what it's supposed to be? I mean, because you think about the last 3 guys. Do you think Alain Vigneault was that hands-on? I don't know for sure.
He seemed as hands-on as Gallant. If maybe a little more, but not by much.
And you had Quinn, who was a new coach. Let's face it. I don't know if he was as savvy or had a system. The Rangers were in a bad place the year he was here, and then they had Gallant. And
David Quinn was in a. I mean, I know a lot of fans don't like him, but he was in a no-win situation.
Right, I agree too.
Coaching a team of mostly 20, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, a couple of veterans through a friggin' pandemic with a shutdown. They couldn't practice together. Then they come back in June or whatever the hell it was, they started that tournament, or August, I guess it was. I mean, tough to succeed under the circumstances he was given.
Ernie Up makes a good point. Says Torts was the last hands-on coach we had. And that's definitely right. I mean, his imprint was on the team. You could see that, for better or for worse.
But he was impossible to – he just came off as so goddamn unlikable that, if his demeanor on the to the rest of the world was the same to his team, I just – how long can you listen to that?
And the thing is, well, Tom Rennie was a good coach, I would say. But this is maybe why these players really, to use the lack of a better word, the retardation or the non-progress is because they'd have no teacher. There's no one teaching these guys.
Right.
So there's no one saying this is where you got to be every play. I mean, I went to that open practice. They did like 7 drills. I don't know if that was.
I think those are just showpieces.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I went to the one at the rink in Central Park before the Winter Classic, and I just think that's just putting on a show. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's my guess. Well, who knows? I mean, Gallant's practices may have been exactly like that. What did they call? What was that one thing that you said they had the weird name, the back it up Molly or something like that?
Yeah, it was like
back it up Molly.
It was some ridiculous name. I forget what it was. I think Tom Rennie was a good coach, like a player's coach and a development coach. But I
brought
just
them out of a
feel
lockout, and they were one of the best teams in the league that year. The Cunny pushback.
The Cunny pushback. Thank you, Matt. By the way, me and Matt will
back it up, Molly.
Back it up, Molly. Well, the Cunny pushback. Matt Morello, he's got a great. I'm going to be going to seeing a wrestling event with Matt Saturday.
I heard
at the Prudential Center.
I heard.
Yeah. So at least it seems like, all right, I might wind up hating this guy after 10 games, but there seems like there's some kind of plan.
Right.
And God knows how far these guys could go with a plan in the playoffs, where he's coaching against tendencies, not just, well, we won before, we'll win again.
Right.
These guys have been in this.
Right. I don't need to talk to the team. I haven't been in there in 2 years. I don't know who half of them is. There's some long-haired freak in there with a beard who plays DJ music. I don't know who he is. Then there's some mop top in there, Russian guy.
Mop top. Well, he's shaving his head, right? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, I guess.
Looks ridiculous, by the way. So is he going to be able to get these guys to do it? I don't know. That remains to be seen.
I hope so.
Then again, I don't know what he's got planned, because that Nashville team had to play like that. I won't even get into the cycling, which I felt the Rangers, other than that fourth line, once in a while could not have. They're not very good at cycling the puck.
Doesn't he miss most of the games? He shuts them off after the first period anyway.
Where are you going to be? You going to Greece? I heard you might be going to Greece. Is the word?
Family dragging him over there?
I don't know.
Oh,
there he is.
Yeah, he's going to Greece.
Well.
And another
don't bend over over there.
By November.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need some hope. That's why when I saw this, I said, you know what?
Patty's giving me hope. Hope to the hopeless.
We got to be there for each other. I mean, last year it was horrible the way things ended. And this is Drury's last chance. This is his last. Now, I don't know about his assistants. I know they name what? Phil Housley, Dan Muse or whatever the hell that guy's name is.
Mike Pekka.
Mike Pekka. Wish we could use him on face-offs.
Face-offs. Players that have played for Pekka love him as a coach.
Really?
Where he's been an assistant. Players love him. Say it's not his demeanor off the ice as a coach is much different than it was as a player. You'll be back just in time for opening night.
Thanks for posting that. I know to go to your house and rob it because there'll be nobody home. Thank you.
Steal his coupons.
I'll steal your coupons in your bin.
And his sanitizing wipes.
What was it, Burger King coupons he's got down there?
Yes.
So I figured this is good, Jim, because this is what I wanted you to see what I saw and get a little bit
really good. It really was. Like I said, I don't know how you found this, but it's fantastic.
I don't know. I was in one of my YouTube deep dives, and I said, well, let me see what this chucklehead has to say.
I love it.
He's been with a lot of teams, so, I mean.
Right, he's been with 28 teams.
28 teams.
So. Coached the Cleveland Barons.
I've been doing a lot of watching old newscasts from the 70s, like Eyewitness News. I think I may have mentioned this.
I'm Roger Grimsby, here now the news.
Right, and Bill Butel and all those guys. And I love to go fast forward to the sports because the sports back in those days used to be the last 10 minutes of the show.
Right.
You had to wait.
It was the only sports you got.
Yeah.
That was it.
And if you bet, like I was, we would bet like, I don't know, in junior high or whatever, you'd make a bet. White Sox are playing the Cubs. I bet the only way you could get a score was watching at the end of the night.
Right.
And I remember my father used to watch to see what the triple was. They used to post the third race triple or whatever it was. And the triple aqueduct.
Aqueduct, huh?
Yeah. Well, he calls the thoroughbreds the cowboys. Cowboy racing. He likes the harness racing more, the one with the drivers.
Oh, okay.
Sulky.
That's what they do with the Meadowlands, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So my father was there for the night that they opened the Meadowlands. It was chaos. They broke down the gate. I don't understand. It was like the Beatles were there. It was a chaos. It was in the Daily News, I remember. So, but it's great to see, like, I got some videos and I'll post them. Like, I saw one of Phil Esposito announcing his retirement, and Duguay's coming back from an injury, and they got some hooky-faluki reporter. Now, didn't Esposito retire in the middle of a season?
Yes.
How do you announce your retirement in the middle of a season?
Oh, he just did. Yeah, my father was at his last game in the Garden, or which I guess was his last game. Yeah. He was at his last game. Him and my mother and a couple of friends of theirs, and they went to the Playboy Club.
I wonder why. What was his reason?
They did. That's a true story. My father knew somebody who was a member and got him in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The old Playboy Club. Yep.
Where was that located?
Well, I think there was one in New York City, but wasn't there also one in Jersey, up in North Jersey somewhere, I think. I couldn't tell you which one they went to be honest with you.
I wonder. I
didn't get a lot of
Plato's Retreat.
Chip! Now you're speaking my language, Chip.
Earning up is very correct. Harness racing is a very corrupt business because the owners are in cahoots with each other, and they let each other know, well, my horse doesn't really have it tonight. So they all bet. It's very hard to find a honest harness track.
I didn't know
My dad could come on the show and tell you which ones are honest. They're probably in the middle of Ohio or whatever they are. But so we have that. And we've talked about the guru, Peter Laviolette.
The Svengali.
The Svengali. Well, he better get some of these chicks, so to speak, to drive to the net. Everybody's talking about the betting. Matt Morello has won at the Meadowlands. Patty Duke is going to go. She's not going. That's the thing with these apps and stuff. My father's dream. My father's been betting the horses since probably around 1955.
Man of war.
And this world of technology, the guy can't use his ShopRite app, but he could somehow navigate a desktop,
right,
a laptop, and find his way to his betting thing where he can bet anytime, anywhere around the world. Japan, Australia, that he knows.
Right.
But he's still going to the service desk for his coupons because he can't do the electronic. All right. So since we've seen that, I think we settled that. Here's the deal. And I think I'm going to make a contest out of this. I think I'm going to send the prizes to Jim because I think Jim is a much better host at the prizing. I feel like you're good at explaining the game. You're good at... So this is kind of an obscure thing that came to me. I was like, listen, again, doing a deep dive.
While you talk, I just got to turn my lights on. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm taking a deep dive on YouTube. I came by a lot of Rangers' first goals, NHL goals. So I guess the object of the game is everybody gets one guess in the chat room of what goal we are going to see the Ranger player getting his first NHL goal. So typically it's a Ranger who started off as a Ranger and then may have went somewhere, may not have went somewhere. I don't think there's a lot of occasions where a Ranger got, traded for and he had no goals and then got his first as a Ranger, if that makes any sense. So it can be anybody that has suited up for the Rangers in the last, say, 34 years. So if you can pick the first one out, there'll be a prize. So we're going to roll the videotape in a second. I'm going to give you a chance.
Oh, we're doing this tonight. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do it tonight. This will be a practice run.
All right, hang on.
So if you can pick who we're going to see score his first NHL goal, and we'll talk about, all right, we got a Kovalev, we got a Stepan. Any other guesses who's going to score? This is that's a good guess, Manny Malhotra. We've got 3 guesses. This will be a non-prize. This is our there's going to be a lot of these. I got like 50 of them.
It's an exhibition.
Duclair? What?
It's an exhibition match.
This is an exhibition game.
Anthony
Duclair, a good guess.
It's a non-title match, as they used to say in the WWF.
And while we're vamping it, Michael Delzaster. Here, I said one guess. I see many guesses here by Matt Morello on the Chastise You Saturday.
He's made 4 guesses now.
4
None
guesses.
of them right. None of them right.
None of them right. All right. And we'll talk about the video and some of the names and the era. And,
Want to give
so
a hint?
here we go. I made a little intro for it and the whole bit. They'll be appearing on Ranger Crisis. No, so far nobody's got it. Let's go to the videotape. Enough with this guessing. People at home, also, you got your chance to give me a name, any name. It is Dave Carter.
Is that the right video? Is this the right one?
Yes.
Okay.
for foamy famous birds.
Andre Waugh having a conversation with the Rangers
yelling
bench.
to the bench, yes. Meanwhile, play is continuing while Waugh was yelling at the bench. Rangers got a hit in. Center to Colton Orr. Backhander. He scores! Colton Orr, his first of the season. His first NHL goal. A beautiful backhander.
What a play by Orr. Now, here's where he and Waugh come together and they talk. They say, want to fight? And Waugh says, so they decide later on. And Colton Orr says, okay, if you don't want to fight, I'm going to go score a goal. Gets in, gets a good hit. They get the forecheck going. And watch how quickly he gets this shot on the backhand and shoots it. Here it comes. Quick shot. In. Colton Orr gives the Rangers the lead.
Now, first thing, when he starts that clip, I think he says Gerard Gallant is yelling at the Rangers bench. I think Gallant played with Tampa Bay at the end of his career.
I got to hear it again. Hang on.
It's right, past this crap over. And if you're a Mets fan, that music is the Kiner Corner theme.
And now it's time for foamy famous birds.
Andre Waugh having a conversation with the Rangers
Yelling
bench.
to the bench, yes. Meanwhile, play is continuing while Waugh was yelling at the
I
bench.
guess it was Waugh.
Rangers got a hit in. Center to Colton Orr.
Maybe it wasn't Colton.
He scores!
Okay, so I'm sorry.
Maybe it's in the full clip.
Maybe. No, I thought I heard it on this clip, but whatever. Who was in net there? Patrick, what was the name? Magnon Rayom? Who was in net?
Rayom.
You know? Yes, no relation, Colton and Bob. Colton Orr, I heard from Ricky Atazu told me that Colton Orr was offered the Rangers a hometown discount to stay, but they really don't want. So I don't know. So Colton Orr,
that would have been Johan Holmqvist in net.
Wow,
former Ranger.
That's right. He was a pick, wasn't he? I definitely did some time in Hartford. I know that for a fact.
He was drafted in the 7th round of the 1997 NHL draft by the New York Rangers.
Was there a Feder Tootin sighting on that go?
Feder Tootin, baby.
I used to call him Feder Useless, but he wound up having a pretty good NHL career, Feder Tootin. He went to Columbus.
Career, right?
He played quite a while.
13 years in the league.
So there you go. Colton Orr's first goal. I remember seeing him on a line with Blair Betts. That's Rennie era, right? I think that is Tom Rennie era.
07? Yes, that would have been Tom Rennie.
That's before we even had a show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
We hadn't been friends yet, all of us. So
we didn't even know we existed.
Well, Cutter, you missed it. Well, this was only an exhibition game. Next week, or whenever we do another show, you will have another chance at winning the grand prize. Well, Jim, that's all I've got. I've done enough video. Just a lot of, we'll see where Eric Carlson goes. The Rangers are set. I don't foresee anything going on.
Well, we should. There should be a show coming up in the next week or two, and we should be joined by Sean McCaff.
Yes, I want
that should be our next program.
I think that's what we should do. Definitely, I think we should. I have some questions for Sean because he came out. I will say the villains. He came out with a very unique perspective on certain guys. And I think you have to, because it would be too generic, if I could use the word, if you just went with different, like the obvious. But I think there's definitely room for side B, as Sean is calling it.
The side B?
side B. So that's all I have to report. I'm glad I rallied the troop. I roused the troops.
You did.
For a little bit.
I think you managed to garner a little support. You got a little grassroots effort going here. I like it.
Well, you know what it is? I feel like we're so jaded. We need to feel the Rangers aren't going to be like good in the regular season all the time. You know,
I was extremely meh on the whole thing, and but now I'm a little more pumped up about it.
Well, again, let's see if these dunderheads can buy into this. They're young and impressionable. The Rangers have young guys. It's really the older guys you're going to be able to like. Again, I just.
Here's the link to Sean's book.
There he is. Get the book, ladies and gentlemen. It's right here. I love this book.
Yeah, I didn't bring mine out with me tonight. Like I said, I think I'm about 100 pages in. It's very good.
I didn't realize that the release date is 2 weeks early.
Yeah,
cool.
he posted it on Facebook yesterday or the day before that they pushed up the release. So it's out. It's available. Go get it.
Right.
Sean, we want you on here talking about it.
He will. I saw him. He was involved in a tabletop hockey tournament with Stan the Man Fischler. It was in New York.
Stan the Man.
Yeah. All right.
Former guest of the show, Stan Fischler.
He was never on this show.
No, he was never on the show.
I interviewed him at Stony Brook.
Did you?
Yeah. I remember getting into it with about Pavel Bure with something there was a little bit of an argument, but then again, he's the Maven and he's arguing
Did he
with
slap you?
No.
Did it get physical? Did it get physical?
No, it was on the radio. It was on the radio.
Oh, I thought you interviewed him in person.
No. He called into the show and we discussed and we started talking about Pavel Bure and I don't know, something happened. He got edgy because he's probably thinking he's dealing with a snot-nosed, like 23-year-old.
Right,
and,
which he was.
Which he was. Who thought he knew everything. And Stan, he spanked me. But I was an upstart, a firebrand, if you will. And I get right back to him. So, no more Leslie Treff.
We're done with that.
Yeah, we're done with that. That's a snooze fest. Sorry. All right. So, have a great summer, boys and ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And then Canadian Tire,
soon.
get me those hockey freaking cards. I see them on eBay. Don't tell me you never had them. Oh, Neil Pionk. Jesus. Neil Stiak. He's actually he's another guy who carved out a really good career.
Not bad.
Not bad for a guy who was in the Rangers minors. Again, defenseman. He's forward. Defenseman. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
He's approaching 200 career points.
Dr. Darwin Bush. Yeah. When is next? I don't know. Philosophers.
A week or two. It's going to be whenever we can book the author.
Right. Putting all
because there is absolutely nothing going on right now to talk about Ranger wise. I mean, we could belittle the coaching and or belabor, I should say, the coaching hire and the players on the team.
Really,
we could, come on. There's nothing else to talk about.
It's dead. News wise, who knows? Something might come up. Molly Walker might get yelled at or something. And we'll see what happens. But I loved every minute of it, and I loved seeing you guys. And
absolutely.
So we're going. We got. You're gonna have the crazies call in. That would include you, Dr. B. Sorry, you're one of us. So that's it. Oh, look at it. Sean is available whenever. He's on the day shift.
Whenever.
Now, we don't need any of the Kana comedy hour. You can catch him at Coconuts. Gus, however.
Uncle Vinny's in Point Pleasant.
Gus is always funny. We got to get him on the show before he goes to Greece. Gets that Grecian formula. All right, so that's all I got, Jim.
We should just do a show watching Gus pack.
The Gus packing show.
You know, you have unboxing. This is a packing, an unpacking show. This is a packing show. I would love to see what he's bringing to Greece for a 3-week trip.
His mother's doing the packing. Are you kidding me? So, anyway, thank you guys.
Thanks,
and
guys.
Jim, enjoy your summer. I hope we get next time we see you with Sean and we can talk about this great book.
Yes, I will get with Sean and we'll set something up.
All right, everybody.
All right, we'll see you guys soon. Take care. Good night, everybody.